All right, everybody, we're going to wait for some people to roll in here. We've got Evan coming in. He's got he should be coming in as a co-host soon. Hopefully, there it is.
Can
Now he's in.
can you hear me?
Uh, yeah, I got you, Evan. You
Perfect.
are loud and clear, good sir. No matrix today.
Sounds good. I think that's funny how that's what people refer to. Because yeah, sometimes I'll be driving, man. I sound like an alien on the road. Have a great take, and I'm just like, I have to repeat it. God damn it. But yeah, hey man, I am ready to get started if you are.
All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk some forwards in this NBA draft. I know there's one in particular we'd like to talk about. He actually just worked out with the Spurs or is going to. Evan knows more about that. He has the scoop on it.
Yeah, that's I guess we'll start with that. That's funny. Yeah, so I was in an undisclosed location. Can't say where. Can't say where. I didn't witness the workout. Is actually going on right now. I made a connect with one of my friends who has Asian ties, who is connected with Kendall Brown's father, and he was supposed to break the news. He gave me the reference, gave me the plug-in because he was trying to get as much hype and notoriety around the name and around the workout as possible, because that's really how it works, and not just this year's draft, but in general. You want to have the most amount of hype, not just so you don't get booed on draft night when you get selected, but so people actually do their research, know who you are. Because, but maybe I would say, what do you think, Ben? Maybe 50% of fans really know who a rookie is coming into training camp, really respect his game, give him time, know the timetable. Fair amount, right?
I would argue that
It's worse.
that it might be worse, but also people don't really get into a guy until he's drafted by the team, and then they're watching. They do some research before summer league, and then if a guy's really blowing up in summer league, they read more about him. So it's kind of dependent on the player, but yeah, there are a lot of people who are very chill before the draft and then get up in arms during the draft.
Yeah, that's really the best way to put it, I guess. Yeah, because you're 100% right. I'm thinking about a lot of the names that had the most hype last season and had the most amount of pressure, but then delivered. And then I'm thinking a lot of the guys that surprised a lot of people. Cam Thomas had a lot of crazy moments in the preseason. That kind of raised his stock, a bit. So, ideally, I can't really go too much about the past. We already here to talk about the current. So we can talk about more prospects, that Phil. But before we do that, I'll give you the quick discourse about Kendall Brown, who would be a great a great addition to this team. When I make these, or when I join these mock drafts, I try and switch it up to see where everyone feels or gets like a temperature around some of these prospects. And Kendall Brown has always been in the first round. He's always been either like in the 20 range. He's been linked to the Heat a lot, which make a lot of sense. He's been linked to the Spurs a lot, which make a lot of sense. And as a Spur, let's talk about that. As a Spur, Kendall Brown is a small forward, power forward combo. He's as effective as any other position, I would feel. We'll see what his official measurements are coming into training camp, because he can still grow. He can still fill into his body. And this man is a crazy athlete. This team needs an athlete. If Doug is off this team, bye-bye. If KPD is off this team, deadweight, sorry, sayonara. You bring in Kendall Brown. He may spend maybe 10 games in Austin, maybe 15, maybe more, maybe the primo treatment. This guy, as a cutter, as a slasher, getting to the rim, highlight film, highlight films, highlight dunks. I said this in a few spaces ago. He was playing against Oregon, Baylor. He started every single game, small forward. This guy got tipped the ball off the tip off, two dribbles into the lane, a crazy second and third hash in between slam, and he's flying so hard, so fast across the lane. He swings back across the holding the rim, swings back, and like literally, and has flight, has a total just ignite to his game, a total just gas pump to his spring light to his game when he's in the air. So that is something the Spurs could use. Yes, the shooting would need some work. Let's talk about that. The shooting, his actual ability to drive to the lane and not be able to offensive foul, elbow someone in, trying to get the lane to get an open dunk. He's more not of a shot hunter. He's actually kind of afraid to shoot. We talked about these guys, the Usman Diangs, the Jeremy Sohans, the Dyson Daniels, who get the ball, who literally tremble, not like tremble, but like hesitate when they get it, when they could it just be a straight Duncan Robinson, Doug McDermott straight release, give and go. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of stuff. Chip will be working with Kendall on for sure. But let me tell you, once that's together, once he actually has a fluid handle on the ball, which will take some time. Like when I say a fluid handle, like not a string like handle, but just all you need as a small forward, power forward to get to the lane. Euro step, finish. That's Kendall Browning. He will be an NBA veteran for a very long time. Athleticism sells in the league, and he is a athlete. Let me make that clear. An athlete.
And and that's really more what he's known for coming into this draft. Kendall Brown, not like you said, a bit hesitant to shoot the ball, hasn't shown that he's a consistent shooter in that regard, but he does a lot of other things really well. He has a good feel for the game. You could argue he's maybe not as raw as Jeremy Sohan, a guy the Spurs are probably looking at with the ninth pick. Kendall Brown, probably a guy you're looking at with the 20th or the 25th pick. And I think at least the mock drafts that I've seen, he's generally falling to those picks.
Oh yeah, I don't think he'll be in the mix for like a top 10, top 12, because he is one. He's like the fringe line of prospects that are like rotation ready, but will be good or good raw prospects to build upon in their G League. It really just depends on who's there. He could be a good addition to the Nuggets. He could be a good addition to a team that is trying to rebuild or has time to rebuild, with somebody that is like on his level. Give it maybe 20, 30 games, see where he's at, bring him into the rotation, see if he has the confidence. And Kendall Brown, like as a 5-star recruit previously, held his own at Baylor, didn't really get the first or second looks. He's more of like a hustle guy, rebound guy. Yes, he would get plays run from. Yes, he would excel in the open court in transition, which he's a demon in. Let me make that clear. A demon in. This guy, as a Doug replacement, with or without any other power forward in this team, would be a great, great slasher to the basket. And I'm telling you, a fantastic finisher. So I'll make that clear and we can move on. Did you want to talk about anybody else, Ben?
I know you and I discussed a couple guys. I think we wanted to look at EJ Liddell for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then there might have been one or two other guys, but I think EJ Liddell is definitely a guy who's going to fall in the 20 or 25 range for the Spurs. And this is a guy who's basically a forward, but maybe not a very big power forward, but also not a very quick small forward. So he's in the dreaded land of being a tweener.
This is true, but this is where he sneaks upon people, man. This is where he needs his respect, needs his flowers. EJ Liddell jumped the highest in his group at the combine in every single type of jumping type of drill. I forgot his official weight, but he has this Draymond, Eric Pascal type build, 6'7", not the highest, but respect his springs. That's something I'm going to say a lot. Respect the springs. This man has a rim protector. LeBron like spikes pin downs on the glass. Literally, not Jalen Duran spikes out of bounds. He's actually more of a rim protector, not just a shot block hunter. And that is so important in this NBA. As a small ball 5, maybe he's 6'8", maybe he's 6'7". He's not tricking people with his shooting sleeves. He needs to get a little swoller. We've seen him, and he actually can. He should be able to bench a little bit more at his size, at his weight, but maybe a year in time, 2 years in time, he'll have a Grant Williams, Keldon Johnson type of build, and this guy's going to be insane. As long as he doesn't get too top heavy, this guy can shoot. He can stretch the floor. He'll burrow his way into the lane. He has that upper body build that you need on a team. Not if you're competing, but not if you're in any type of range where you don't need one. Because the Jason Tates of the world, the Kenyon Martins, these guys can get up. These guys are athletes. They're in the NBA for a reason. And at 6'7", 6'8", let me tell you, I promise you, at a small ball 5, he will have fans ignited, getting out their seats, the blocks, the pushing transitions, the threes, corner threes mostly. Let me tell you, EJ Liddell would be a great addition to this team. I feel like he will be rotation ready. He will need time in Austin, of course. Pop will give him the runs. Will have the sweat equity he needs to run through. But yeah, he's somebody that I would absolutely love on this team.
I mean, he's he would be such. I feel like he'd be kind of an oddball fit, but it'd be like the kind of oddball fit the Spurs like. He's a he's 6'7", he's 240. He's done. He tested the waters last year. He did everything that basically the NBA and teams and agents told him to do: go back, lose weight, add a 3-point shot. He's done all those things, and he should be rewarded with a first round pick this year. If there is one skill for him that you think makes him NBA ready right now, like that will get him NBA minutes, what is it?
Yeah, it's his rim protection, man. Let me tell you, at his weight, like I'm saying, 240, 6'7", there's no way you should be able to rely on this guy to be able to have like this, like the Jalen Duran, Walker Kessler as the level of rim protection, not just shot blocking, but rim protection at his size. His ability to fly across the lane. Give me that, man. Let me tell you. I promise you, you'll be so surprised when you see this man fly across. He's so big for his size. I know I can get too animated with this, but I'm getting excited. EJ Liddell's a Spur next to Keldon Johnson in the small ball lineup. Come here, Devin. Stretch the floor. Kick out Primo. Kick out DeJounte. Lane penetration. Kick out open lane. Everybody's going to get an open shot. Everybody's going to get an open look. And everyone is going to excel with someone like that on their team because he can stretch the floor. We'll see what he can shoot at an NBA three. And in college, it was mostly corners. It was mostly open looks in the wing area. Not the greatest. At the combine, he did shoot well. Of course, these are open. Of course, these are just people slowly running out to you with a little paddle or something like that, or their hand and some shit like that. Excuse my language, but literally, I kid you not. EJ Liddell is a stud, and he will be a great addition to this team. I promise you.
All right, we got the two guys we really wanted to focus on. Is there, before we open up for questions, before we open up the floor, is there one more forward, Evan, do you think that we need to be keeping an eye on for that
Yes.
20-25
Yes.
range?
Yes, because this is somebody that we may have to end up trading up for. Somebody that I will have a tweet about later. Made something happen. I'm telling you, Marjon Beauchamp will be the greatest addition to this team as a wing. As a wing, I made my decision. Yes, like we talked about Ochai Agbaji, the 3-and-D sniper from Kansas. Yes, he'll be a trailer, not really a lane penetrator. But Marjon Beauchamp, he's been on record. He has said, "Hey, I would sit, I would wait." In the Spurs system, I'm in the G League now. I could be in the G League for another year. I'm chilling. I just want to work on my game. I just want to be a stud. I just want to be the guy. I want to be a future number one option. Okay. So let me look at his game. Well, yes, he was in Yakima Community College before he came to the G League. He's somebody that is having one of the more crazy projectiles to the NBA, crazy like storylines to get to the NBA. But you have to respect it solely because he has a bag, he has a game. Not the most athletic wing in this draft. It's really in between him, I guess, Paolo, who's more of a wing, more of a power forward, even though he's 6'11". But I can promise you, absolutely promise you, Marjon Beauchamp will be a second or third option in this league one day. As a all-around wing. Let's just think of a 2K build as an all-around three-level scorer wing. That's athletic, that can get to the rim, that can score, that's quick in transition, that can dunk from the third hash, that can tomahawk, finish. Literally, Marjon Beauchamp is that guy, and he'll be ready next year, like next season in October. But he'll have time. We'll see what he can do. Give him the primo treatment, like I say. But let me tell you, Marjon Beauchamp will be falling in that 16, 17 range. I don't really see him getting past Atlanta. So is this guy worth trading up for? Is this guy somebody that you can maybe move on from a piece now that may not be worth it, that like a Doug or a Josh Richardson, that you can just salary dump someone off this team to move on somebody, to get somebody like him? Not only yes, but I want you to imagine this. I've said this trade with, what's his name? Simon. We talked about it with Austin. If the Spurs were to say, man, we missed on Zach LaVine. He wants to be a Laker. He wants to make his back somewhere else. If we miss on DeAndre Ayton, there's 6 or 7 other teams that can get a sign and trade for him, right? John Collins, at his rate, at his bag, not only is available, pick swaps. Maybe send Devin back home. I know that may sound crazy, but Devin's replacement not only could be Marjan with the 16 pick with the Hawks in a pick swap, but Marjan brings a whole type of new game to the a new type of speed to this team. Yes, Devin Vassell needs to get paid the year after next, right? Let's be realistic. It'll be before Keldon. It'll be after Keldon, after Trey, after Jakob, after all these guys. But if you were to bring in Marjan, you don't have to pay this guy for 3 years. You don't have to worry about Primo for another 2-3 years. You have Keldon, everybody working their bag, making their earning their worth for their bag this year, if that makes sense. Even if you bring a Zach LaVine, even if you bring a DeAndre Ayton, you still have Marjan, and you still can make sure that Keldon doesn't make his bag worth over 20, 22 million by having these 30, 35 per game outbreaks because you have a rotation ready guy in Joe Wieskamp or Marjan at all point in times. You have ability to stretch the floor. You get rid of Doug J. Rich, you have more cap space. You have to be able to think about the future, right? You have to be able to think about who wants to be here. And last but not least, our leader of this team, Greg Popovich, and the other leader of this team, DeJounte Murray, are screaming, we need another wing, another athletic piece. And that could be Ousmane Dieng. That could be Leonard Miller. That could be a lane penetrator like Marjan Beauchamp. And that could be something, that could be the first piece we move. 20 and 25 just to get the Hawks, right? Just to get him. We can make another sweep by adding Doug or Jay Rich to get rid of John Collins. We see the request, we'll bring him up. And then we can do maybe a DeAndre Hunter sweepstakes. The Hawks aren't high on him. They don't want to pay him. They have his replacement, what's his name? Jalen Johnson already ready and cooking up in the G League. He'll be ready in Atlanta next year. They wanted Torrey Eason. They wanted Jamie Sohan. They want our pick. You see what I'm saying? So, Ben, if you have a rebuttal or anything you want to say before that, then we'll get to Trenton. Shout out to everyone joining us. We definitely appreciate you stopping by during this lunch hour. I know it's a little weird time. We had to throw it in there earlier than today. But yeah, Ben, go ahead, and then we'll get to Trenton.
And we'll be back on again this week, I have a feeling. But, yeah, I mean, I've been high on Marjan Beauchamp, basically from everything Evans told me. And I've talked to a few other people who really like him as well. And the Yakima Washington connection with DeJounte Murray is definitely strong. It's definitely good. But we're going to get right to Trenton. What's your question, big dog?
Hey, what's up, fellas? I got a two-parter for you. And first, I just want to say, Evan, I really appreciate when you get in your zone, man, describing prospects. It helps me when I'm reading your articles, too. So just FYI, keep it up. But my two-part question is, first part is, how would you rank the forwards in this draft? And maybe we keep it to like top 5. And then second, if you think about our options in the draft, so let's say we go with 2 first-round picks. So for some way we consolidate, have you guys thought of a combination of what we would bring in? So whether it be, a guard and a forward or 2 front court players, have you guys thought about that or thrown around any scenarios? I know I have, but just wanted to hear your guys' thoughts. But that's it for me.
I'll answer the first part of this question in terms of rankings because I actually just updated my board, and then you can Ben, if you want to answer the second part, you may have to ask that again. The second part of the question, Trenton. But the first part in terms of rankings, the top 3, there's really there's nobody as a tier ahead of no one in terms of like the top 3. It's Paolo, Chet, Jabari, however you want to put them. Yes, the fits may be different, but guys, I'm telling you, don't be surprised if Orlando is swooped off their feet by OKC offering to make sure they get Chet. Chet and Josh Giddey are like best friends apparently on Instagram. Like they're all but together. Like Chet saying, "We'll see you next season. I'll see you next season, Luka." Yeah, we'll see him in the Southwest Division if OKC picks you up, man. So literally, I don't know, but in terms of what the rest are, it's Keegan Murray, I guess, for. I was on a podcast earlier where I said that Malachi Branham or other guys could be Johnny Davis could have a better season, first year rookie season than Keegan Murray, depending on the fit. And I'll say Keegan Murray is 4, but I'm going to say this now. This is recorded space. Keegan Murray may have the worst season as a top 10 guy, next to like AJ Griffin, next to whoever. It depends on who the fit is. We talked about this last time. I was in Noah Space, literally talking about how Keegan Murray is limited on offense. People know his bag. People know his preferences, where he likes to go. His 5 or 6 isolation moves that he's not really an isolation scorer. He has to come off screens. He has to come off backdoor cuts. He has to score in transition. He has to get his open looks. Everything else could be blocked. We'll move on from that. I'll put Jeremy Sohan at 5, I guess. In terms of right now, he's a rotation ready small ball 5 and 4 that can switch on to 3s. You don't have to be a great offensive guy, offensive prospect year one, if you're just able to lock down guys. If you're not a Herbert Jones, not like Evan Mobley, but Jeremy Sohan is a tier or two behind those guys, in my opinion. Being able to be a pick and roll initiator and a roll man on offense, the playmaking ability, give him a year or two with Chip, man.
Hey, Evan.
Yeah.
Evan, my bad. I should have been more clear. So after the top 3, so more in our range. Yeah, no, that's my bad. That's my bad.
No,
so
yeah, you're good.
Starting with probably Sohan and going further back. So Eason, Beauchamp, those guys.
Eason's a forward. There's no real definition if he's a small forward, power forward. He's the slasher. He's not really the playmaker, but the play finisher, the lob threat, the transition guy. That's Torrey Eason. I'm not even looking at my board. I'm going off the top of my head. Don't be surprised if Jalen Duren sees a lot of action at the 4 if he's next to somebody that can stretch the ball. And even if it's New York, Jalen Duren could be New York next to Mo Bamba. They can run that lineup out, and they could even have Obi Toppin at the 3 just to run in transition, just to guard people. Tom Thibodeau is a crazy guy. I'm not just saying this because New York fans are joining us in this space, but literally, I've seen crazy lineups like that. There's no small ball 5 in his eyes, and that could be crazy. Jalen Duren has the ability to the mid-range game. He's 6'9", 6'10". He can switch out. He's a lob threat. John Collins, but more of a Robert Williams type of build. And the mid-range game, mid-range face-up, literally his NBA body right now, spin into a guy, try and finish with the left hand, finish with the right hand, up and unders. You'll be surprised. And then in the right system with the right confidence, right build, right time, Jalen Duren at the 4 may surprise people. I'm going off the top of my head. Other guys in this range, Malachi's more of a wing. I'll say he's a guard, not a forward, so we'll skip on from him. Marjan is a small forward. I guess I'll say him down. Marjan doesn't have any terrible sides to his game. When I say terrible, everything is like the Lonnie Walker effect. I'm sorry if Lonnie Walker's burner account is listening to this. Literally, if you have remembered Lonnie Walker's downside to his game, it's literally the inconsistent shit. It's literally the balls dribbling off his foot. It's literally the him mishandling the ball and then it getting stripped immediately just because somebody sees him fumbling it, that type of stuff. And that's Marjan Beauchamp as well. Right now, as a rookie in the NBA, 18, 19 years old. Actually, he's older than that. My bad. Top of my head, I know he's older than that. But literally, Marjan wouldn't have the same. He wouldn't have the same Lonnie Walker struggles year one that aren't as inconsistent. Because I see the dog in him. I know that's a cliche thing to say, but I see the killer instinct in Marjan, and that's why he went to the G League to really define his game. He got the offer. He was killing people in the community college, 35, 36, 50-point games, literally with ease, getting to his spot. His first step is electric, not like Jaden Ivey's but his ability just to slither through the lane, his guard-like ability. That's what I'm saying. He could be a 3, 2, and maybe a combo guard one day in this league because, like I said earlier with Kendall Brown, athleticism sells in this league. If you're an athlete, you'll be a Ben McLemore still in this league because you can jump 30 inches in the air. You'll be a Keon Johnson getting selected and getting traded as an asset, even though you have no other ability in this league as an NBA player. You'll be Vince Carter playing in this league forever, not just because you're the sympathy effect, because you can jump high. And if you can jump high and you're staying healthy and you can play some defense and you can lock up like Marjan Beauchamp can, I'm telling you, you'll be in this league for a long time. There's really, I'm extending this, man. There's really no one else I could say besides Ousmane Dieng. Shout out to his burner account in the audience. My guy DM'd him a long time ago. But at the end of the day, right now, Ousmane Dieng still could be a top 10 prospect, man. These guys that just fall, I forgot AJ Griffin. I'll mention him in a second. Ousmane Dieng can fall into that top 10 or fall maybe to us in the 19, 20 range. It depends on how he works out with guys. Depends on his mentality. Obviously, it's not the language barrier. It's not the attitude. It's his killer mindset and mentality, how focused he is. I forgot who he's signed to right now. We saw him getting his shout outs by Jonathan Giovanni, by all these other guys, Draft Express. He didn't go to the combine. He's really skinny. His body fat was probably at a death rate. Excuse my language, but there's like 5 guys. John Butler's, another guy from Europe, another guy I forgot his name. That like their body fat percentage was like they're about to die. These guys are so skinny, and now it's probably Usman Yang as well. This guy is so freaking skinny. He needs to build, but let me tell you, once he learns how to finish at the rim, once he that confidence just fills out, once he actually can learn how to jump in the air without landing and falling like John Morant, like Derrick Rose. Sorry, cross my heart. Literally, Usman Dieng will be not. I said this 4 or 5 times. Not a promised Giannis type of build, but he'll have the rookie year Giannis type of role. Slither your way to the lane, finish, please. Be a play finisher. Bring the ball up and just dime your way through. Slither your way through, guys, and pick and roll, initiate, pick and pop, roll, two-man game, dribble, handoff. Do something, man. That's his game. You got to respect his range. We'll see what he can do in the NBA. That's Usman Dieng. And then last but freaking not least, let's talk about AJ Griffin. I've been really disrespectful on AJ Griffin. I've been ultra disrespectful on him. Solely because in college, he would just come off screens, be wide open. His wide James Harden early Houston Rocket base where his feet and his legs are just so wide compared to his arms. And this guy's literally, his butt is almost touching the floor as he's loading up. Shot in. 50% bucket. Cool. Congratulations. He can shoot 2 or 3 dunks in the year. Obviously, he missed time in the season with those injuries. And dude, doesn't it just scream Michael Carter Williams? Like, yeah, he'll earn his bag, but he'll be injured, then he'll miss time. Doesn't this just scream someone who gets hurt and can't miss, or will miss time by default just to be safe with him? And then we'll never know because the medicals won't come back all the way clear. Then he'll get traded. Then he'll be a Markelle Fultz, and we'll have to worry about him. Then we'll don't know his value. Doesn't that just scream that, in my opinion? Like, he's somebody who has to work on his defense, who is, like I said, cook food on defense because this guy cannot move laterally. He can't switch sides. He can't shuffle his feet. I literally said this on the podcast earlier. Some of these guys have to learn how to do some salsa dances, man. Have to learn how to slide their feet. You got Ben. You remember basketball camp? We have to slap the floor and slide your feet. Slide. Stop. 30 seconds here. Slide. Stop. Do guys not do that now? Because AJ Griffin cannot defend, man. He's so, like, I don't know what it is, but I guess it's injuries. Yes, it's this and that, all the other reasons. But man, this guy is if you set a pick for him, he'll literally stop and just be like, oh well, I'm not gonna close out. I can't close out. I can't accelerate. My right foot can't leap for the left foot unless I'm already in running motion. That type of stuff is what people are scared about. Yes, the workout videos, he can cross train. Yes, he's ripped. He's actually a really ripped athlete. He's NBA body right now. Guy's really ripped. But he comparing him to Jimmy Butler with the 3. This guy can't even get to the rim. This guy can't even initiate in as a pick and roll man and accelerate because he can't even accelerate. Literally, he didn't jump at the combine. He didn't test at the combine. These guys are relying on other people to tweet about them to boost their height to make sure that they're staying in the top 10. He's the guy. Him and Johnny Davis are the reason they're falling. These guys are falling down boards in the 13s and the 14s when they were a top 5 lock. The best small forward that people were saying should be drafted before Paolo Banchero. No, the hell he's not. AJ Griffin is screaming bust to me, man. He's screaming bust. We mentioned him solely because this is being realistic. This is me saying if he's in the wrong situation, like the Spurs, if we select him at 9, where the hell is he going to play? Is he rotation ready? Yeah, he can stretch the floor. He can shoot. The playmaking ability, the defense. What else is he going to do? Literally, what is he going to do? Is he going to sit behind Primo? He's better than Primo, technically, I guess, as a shooter. I guess, not really. Is he better than Primo? No, he's not better than Primo because he can't get to the rim. So he's not on this team. Everybody who's just lazy, who doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, they link him to the Spurs at 9. It pisses me off. People are just like, he's the number 1 small forward on my board because he could fucking shoot. Excuse my language. Because he could shoot at Duke in a system where Trevor Kills initiates, kick out, open shot. Paolo Banchero spin, dribble drive into the lane. Either that's a layup or that's a kick out so somebody is swinging to the left, open shot there. Literally, that's it, man. That's it. And AJ Griffin is not a rotation-ready guy in my system. We have Ian joining us. Ben, sorry for the long ramble, but I got time today, man. I got time today. I
Clearly
promise.
you do. But I'll answer the second part of Trenton's question in that, what's the kind of combination of positions we're looking for or the Spurs are looking for in the draft. And Evan and I have talked about this. We don't believe that all 4 picks are going to get used. We think that at most there's going to be 3 guys who are selected for the Spurs. My best guess is there's more than likely only going to be 2 guys selected, but they have to absolutely get a forward. And if you're going to have 3 picks, I'd say you get a forward at 9 and you get a guy you're comfortable with developing at 20 or 25. And then if you can find a wing or a guard that you're comfortable with taking, can potentially get minutes right away or shouldn't take too much time to develop in the G League, go after that guy. As far as positions of need for the Spurs, that's how I have it in my book right now.
I like a stash option at 38 as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have all 4 picks, or if you're gonna trade the 20 or the 25th and just keep the 38th, if you can find a guy who's willing to be stashed, I think that's going to be the key in this draft. Because my understanding is there are a lot of guys from overseas who want to come and play immediately. But if you can find a guy who's comfortable being drafted and then stashed, absolutely go for it. You can save yourself a roster space that way.
And that's
my thoughts exactly.
That's the most important thing in my opinion. Sorry for butting in, but roster space is literally something that we have to think about here. The KBDs of the world, the Josh Richardsons of the world, the Dumb and Dumbers of the world. Let's not call them dead weight, but let's call them expendable, right? Expendable. These guys have 3-4 years left in this league to make a serious amount of money, and then they're gone. Let's see what's going on with Ronnie Walker for the MLE. Let's respect his clutch ties, right? Let's respect Keldon Johnson and DeJounte actually respecting him and wanting to still be here. Yes, he said this and that on his let's bring Ian up again. Yes, he said this and that on liking tweets and not saying disrespectful things, but he unliked him. Lonnie Walker is somebody that you can see on this team, somebody that's expendable as well. But let's think about this. I'll end with this. I promise. I'll make this quick. As a roster spot that you can bring in a Zach LaVine, right? Everyone knows DeJounte wants Zach LaVine. Or maybe a Johnny Davis, right? If you get rid of Doug, if you get rid of Josh Richardson, 1 through 3, let's look at the trajectory of the league. So yes, we'll be better than last year. Yes, we won't be in any competition. But the Steph Currys of the world, the Warriors, obviously the Lakers with LeBron, obviously the other teams that are going to come back healthier next year. We'll see what's going on. The Clippers, maybe the Suns rejuvenate. They'll see what they can get in the DeAndre and sign and trade. The West is going to get older. The Boston Celtics of the world are in the best position of the world. The Memphis Grizzlies of the world are in the best position of the world because they have cap space, or they can have pieces that can move, and they have a little amount of picks, and they're already in the championship mode. They're young, they're exciting. People want to join them, and even though they're in the quote unquote small market, they're not in the most exciting teams, they are, but they're not in the most in the glorious markets previously. If they were bad, if they were tanking, they rejuvenated, and those are the teams we have to beat and be compete against in the regular season to show other free agents, hey, John Collins at the trade deadline, yeah, we'll offer the Hawks whatever you want. Devin Vassell, go back home. I'm sorry, that could be a piece we can move. Doug, Jay Rich, our 9th pick, they would love to get rid of DeAndre Hunter or John Collins as long as they get their replacement and more cap space and shooting because they cannot shoot. They need another backup point guard for Trey. And listen, the Hawks, the Hornets, the Knicks, all these guys that are in the 15, 16 range, we can get them. We can make a trade for them. We can get a Marjan. We can get an Ochai Obaji. We can get an EJ Liddell. Or maybe Mark Williams falls. And that's the Jakob replacement. And it really just depends on how this draft goes. I promise you there's so much more than we can actually detail and figure out. We'll get to Ian before I talk everyone's head off, but there's no way we'll be able to predict what the Spurs actually do because there's so many scenarios that layer off here. You may be able to combine a 5 or 16 mega trade here. Somebody falls off. Somebody doesn't draft the guy they were supposed to. Somebody literally says, oh, we didn't work out this guy. It's like we drafted him. Literally, that type of stuff happens all the time. Ian, go right ahead, man.
Hey, Evan, thanks for having me on, man. I agree with you on AJ Griffin, man. As soon as they got an NBA level defender on him in Leaky Black, he couldn't get any buckets at all. I mean, he shot 1 for 7 from three in the 2 games that Leaky Black was on him. Leaky Black is 6'8", long. That's what he's going to see in the NBA. I kind of agree with you. I think he's a bust. I would stay away from him. Forwards that I'm more interested in, kind of a little bit in the latter half of the first round, and that's Jake LaRavia. Man, I'm a big fan of his. He's strong. He's big. He plays with aggression. He shot 38% from the field, from three. He's efficient. I just want to know maybe more thoughts on him. I feel like if we can get him at 20, 25, man, I honestly, I think he's a really good player. I think he'll really help out a lot.
Ben, let me answer this real quick because we in our group chat we were setting up some draft day live stream or whatever, and I was like, hey, if the Spurs draft Jake LaRavia, is there any way you can set up lights and music to like throw a rave at that pick? Because I would be so excited. I would literally like scream Jake LaRavia. Jake LaRavia, literally just like everything. I would be so excited. Jake LaRavia, let me make this clear, is the combo forward, just as effective as a 3 or a 4. The Kuzma build, as the not the quickest forward out there, right? He's not going to be able to just flash his way in the lane. He's a cutter. He'll be able to finish at the rim. The most average in the middle of the lane forward that they have, but you have to respect his range. You have to respect his playmaking ability. His defense, he locked up Paolo Banchero multiple occasions, literally 2 or 3 times last year. And right now, at the 25, you can bring him in, and he's rotation ready. Jake LaRavia can stretch the floor. He can bring the ball up the floor. There's no one else I can compare him to besides these combo forwards, the Kyle Kuzmas of the world, that are just as effective as a 3 and a 4, small ball 5 maybe. He can protect the rim. We talked about this in the first space. We actually talked about him specifically, him and other prospects. Jake LaRavia has patience, has so much, such a high basketball IQ. He'll be able to. This one play, he was cutting to the basket. The guy thought he was cutting to do an alley oop. He caught it under the basket. Literally had to like duck under the net so he could see. Kicked it out to the open man, open 3, bottom of the net. And it's just like, yeah, that's like cool, acrobatic, this and that. His patience, his confidence right now at 25 or 20. I've selected him at 20 in mock drafts just to see how big of a stretch that is. People are just like, what are you doing, Jake LaRavia? Throw up emoji. Ugh. Kiss my ass, bro. Jake LaRavia is a solid kid, man. Let me tell you. He's rotation ready. Not only is he somebody that you can grab at 25, I wouldn't be surprised if he falls out the first round. Emergency 38, Doug, J. Rich, somebody, KBD, get this man. Go get him. Seriously, if he falls out the first round. But he did get a first round promise. He did not continue with the scrimmages in the second day of the combine. So yeah, somebody, maybe 2, 3 teams, secretly one of them. He's fallen in the 38 on mock drafts, 40s, all that stuff. Dude, first round lock, guaranteed, as Chuck could say, guaranteed.
Yeah, man, Evan, you hit it right on the head, man. Especially defensively, I feel like that's where he can offer a lot. He moves his feet well, which is weird because he is slow, but he's smart. He has very good size. I mean, 6'9", 240, 230. You can't really teach that. So, no, very, very good points, man. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. Ben, if you have anything else you want to say, I necessarily don't think we need to close out just quite yet. There are maybe a couple people we do need to just mention at the last minute. And if anybody else wanted to join us, feel free. But Ben, go right ahead.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I'd throw a rave for Jake LaRavia at 20 or 25. It's been one of my favorite picks at that. He's been one of my favorite players at that pick that I've really enjoyed seeing in mock drafts. I think people are understanding, oh, okay, he is a good player. He's not just some dude who ran under the radar at Wake Forest because Alondas Williams was the guy. Like Jake LaRavia is a legitimate player and should be considered as such. And you could even argue that he has a more useful skill set, or is at least farther along in his development than Alondas Williams is. Granted, they play different positions, so it's apples and oranges. But Jake LaRavia at 20 or 25 is definitely worth celebrating. I just think it's a really good pick. That's a guy who could potentially played right now, get some rotation minutes, but probably better served by a year in the G League and really showing off in the G League and showing people what they missed out on him by not drafting him.
And I'll say this about Jake LaRavia, and we'll move on to maybe one or two other guys, and we'll close. Jake LaRavia has not the killer mentality, but this guy's not some killer, not some just pushover, not just some easy guy you're just going to push off the spot. The Spurs don't need another quiet, passive-aggressive, sorry, Doug, sorry, Joe Wieskamp. We need some active, not Dennis Rodman, not Draymond Green, loud, donkey antics, literally just super loud, aggressive. We don't need that, right? Social media, whatever you want to call it, on the floor, offensive fouls, technical fouls, don't need that. We need guys that are, I'm gonna push off the spot. We gonna get in your head. We gonna push you to your brink and always give you 100%. And that is Jake LaRavia, man. Let me make that super clear. As someone who transferred into Wake Forest, somebody who was not even on draft boards, is now our first round lock. And the work speaks for itself. We talked about Kendall Brown, EJ Liddell, Marjan. Who else, Ben? We didn't really talk about Ochai. I'll talk about him again real quick. In terms of like the lining replacements, which may or may not happen. The Jay Rich replacements, the Doug replacements, which are definitely expendable. Ochai Agbaji at the 3, at the 2. Even if we keep Devin and Primo, all these guys, and Devin Vassell, yes, that is a crowded 1 through 3, but 1 through 3 for the youth, for the future. Maybe one of these guys is out for an injury. Ochai Agbaji with 20 minutes can give you 5 threes. Can be a trailer that'll snipe from 35 feet away. Have Bryn Forbes peak moments at the slightest of first or second halves. I'm telling you, Ochai Agbaji is a great defender. He makes the right reads. He definitely knows his game, and not somebody who's going to get to the lane as initiator like a Ben Matheman. I see Tom Sharp wants to join. We'll bring him up. There's nobody I would rather have as like somebody that you need a last-minute 3 in this draft besides maybe Jabari Smith, rather than Ochai. We'll close with Nicola Yovich talk, but we'll pass it to Tom. Tom, thank you for joining us. First time having you on stage, I believe. Feel free to ask us any questions about the draft, anything we said previously. Floor is yours. You got to unmute your speaker or your mic, and then...
Can you hear me?
If you can. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm driving. Let me park real quick. I'm almost at the store. It's probably hard to hear me with the wind blowing.
No, you're good. Go ahead. We can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead.
So I just got in here, so I don't know exactly what we've been talking about up till now. Were we on what topic were we on?
It was more on the lines of just like the forward options. We talked about guys that will be available at 9 and more guys that will be available at 20 and 25. So EJ, Liddell, Torrey Eason. We didn't talk about Torrey Eason per se, but we'll talk about him a little bit later, I guess. But like the Sohans, all these guys, EJ, Marjan. We'll end up with Yovich here in a second, which is a good option. But floor is yours.
Okay. So I guess my opinion on 9 would be, I mean, I've always been a big believer in, and not everybody agrees with it, it's kind of controversial, but I've always been a big agreeer with drafting the best player available. Unless you have, a guy at a position, like let's say you have KD, that is when you don't draft that position. But when you have more so role guys and above average guys, which we have a lot of good players, but I don't, outside of DeJounte, I don't think we have anybody really close yet to being that kind of guy. I think that you just take the best player available. I'm really high on Mathurin. I really think that he's going to be very good. I like Mathurin. I also like, a lot of people don't like it, but Johnny Davis. I do not like Jalen Duren at 9. I'm not going to lie. It's another guy that a lot of people seem to want to draft. I just don't, in this day and age, in this game. I think that drafting Dern is just too. It's just not the best move. The guy can't shoot. He's very raw. It's going to take him some time. He could be a good player, but it would take him some time.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Jalen Duran will have a lot of boneheaded moments as a rookie. The highlights will be nice, the alley-oops, the backdoor cuts, the volleyball spikes out of bounds, as I always say. Super excited. Whoa! He jumped that high. Oh, my God. He's a shot block hunter. He will foul more than he has blocks. He will have a lot of plays run for him where he dribbles off of his foot. He doesn't know what he's doing. He will literally have, like I said, not just the boneheaded plays, but he's the guy that you have to have him going, like actually going. Feed him to stay in the game, the mentality, and to be given 100%. We'll see what system he has. I've seen mock drafts. Sacramento, maybe they don't want Rashawn Holmes. They want more of a push ball in transition like team. 7 seconds so Sabonis can push the floor even though he's slow. As a 4, he's working on his shot because the floor. They have more assets they can move. That makes sense, but I like him as nothing. I don't know about the Knicks because Mitchell Robinson says he wants to come back. So it's just like, dude, does he fall to us at 9? And do we make him the immediate Yaka replacement? I say yes. He was number 1 on our board that we didn't really discuss over. He was number 1 on our board, and it makes sense because if you bring him as a Yaka replacement, not even if you have to move Yaka, really just have him make 20 minutes right now, rotation ready. We can get rid of Zach Collins. Jock Landale can't protect the rim for nothing. He's going to get down plenty of times. If it will make a huge difference if these guys can knock down 2 or 3 threes every game, which they've shown flashes on in scrub time, but we know if it's clutch time, if we know it's second or third quarter, these guys are going to fold, and that's where Jalen Duran has the opportunity. I see him making 20 minutes, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. Give me 2 blocks, please, and just don't foul out, big fella, please. That's all I ask. And if that's a Spur, I'll cheer for it. He'll wear number 2. Please make us forget about Kawhi. And it's just like, like if you were going to be there, Pop and Tim are going to have to work on his game for a long time. Have to slow him down. Ben, I know you have an opinion, Brent. Go ahead.
Oh, buddy. Jalen Duran is the reason everybody likes him is because of his freakish athleticism. He's showed just enough touch and just enough shot making, not right at the rim that people think they can make him a better shooter than he might be. So I think that's why there's some people divided on him. There's some people who are super high on him saying, oh, yeah, we can totally extend his range. And then there are people who are saying, I'm not sure, man. I don't know if he gave us enough sample size. So that's why you kind of have 2 camps on Jalen Duran right now. And at number 9, that could be a scary prospect. And I personally think that there are going to be other guys available. But Benedict Matheman was another guy that Evan and I had talked about we really liked. But he's a bit more of a combo guard rather than like a true winger forward that the Spurs could use. So I think that's one of the reasons why some people have him getting mocked there. Some people have him going earlier, depending on, the team and the fit and stuff. But it's a weird, just the 9th pick is just a weird spot because there's enough space there that something crazy could happen right before that pick. And the Spurs don't end up even picking 9th, or they don't end up with the selection of guys they thought they would. Tom, I see you got your hand up, so hit us up. What else do you have for us?
Yeah, I worry about what's going to happen in 8 because the Pelicans, you never know with them. So what do we think about? I'm sure it's more about like age and whatnot. But so if obviously they're different players, but what do we feel about like Mark Williams compared to Jalen Duran? I know he's a little older, but how do we feel about? I mean, we saw his measurables; they're pretty damn scary. How do we feel about Mark Williams versus Jalen Duran?
So let me make this comparison. I really need to tweet this video because it was so funny when I saw it. Jakob Poeltl in pre-workouts as a rookie, he was a 9th pick. Let's remember that, the 9th overall pick. He was knocking down threes, pull-up jumpers, and like of course he was skinny. He had to fill out. You know exactly who that looks like. Mark Williams. Yes, Mark Williams is taller. Yes, he's bigger, but he's not really as swole as people think. We didn't see him bench press. We didn't see how much this man can lift. Yes, he's heavy. Yes, his standing reach is only, good heavens, 4 inches away from the rim, ladies and gentlemen. This man literally has to tiptoe his way to dunk. That's
Crazy
insane.
length.
Literally
Crazy
insane.
length.
So if you want to say Jalen Duran is an immediate backup, right? 20 minutes, like I said, in the Spurs system, and Mark Williams is like a 12-minute, maybe start him in Austin. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. Mark Williams could very well be the best center in this draft. Mark Williams could very well thrive in the Charlotte Hornets system as a day one starter, and to see, let's just run in transition. Let's trade Gordon Hayward, and let's maybe suck with a coach we haven't even hired yet, and let's just see what happens until LaMelo Ball gets pissed off. Let's just do bounce pass alley oops until Miles Bridges doesn't want to be here anymore. Maybe he'll resign. Literally, there's no wrong answer with Mark Williams as a Knick. There's no wrong answer with him as a Spur. I like him long-term over Jalen Duren because I feel like Jalen Duren will want these offensive touches. He's the Antonio McDyess of this generation, the 4 and the 5, who's a skinny, ripped, spring of action, 6'9", 6'10" guy, but he's not that heavy center that Mark Williams will be. That will be not the Clint Capella, not the Miles Turner, but literally the freaking Jakob Poeltl. Literally, Mark Williams will be our Jakob Poeltl in 5-6 years, but a little bit better, a little taller, a little stronger, and definitely more of a lob threat. Definitely more of a lob threat.
Yeah, that's a good take.
Appreciate you. No,
Yeah.
I gave you Tom, man. Thank you for stopping on stage. We not only definitely appreciate your insight, but anybody who knows what they're talking about actually may or may not have the time to speak. Feel free to DM us. Feel free to ask us questions. If you are a draft casual, if you have no idea who these people are, no pressure. We are always here to help. The last thing we'll talk about before we close, because we've been on here for about an hour, we do have to talk about Nicola Yovich. Now, we've said all these other guys that can play defense. We mentioned Ochai Agbaji, that is a sniper. Jabari Smith, obviously, maybe the best shooter in this draft. But don't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, if Nicola Yovich comes and takes that title and makes it clear year one. Nicola Yovich as a Kyle Anderson replacement, maybe getting 10 minutes, 12 minutes as a Memphis Grizzly. He'll knock down 1-3. I'll guarantee you it'll be from 30, 35 feet. He'll knock that down. It'll be nothing but net. It may not even touch the net. It'll literally go right down the middle. Nikola Yovich is a sniper. Nikola Yovich is an isolation wing at 6'10", and you have to respect his range. You have to be able to respect his acceleration ability, as athletic ability to get to the rim. That's not going to be there. But the Jason Tatum sidesteps, the turnaround face-up off of mid-range, the cross-tween, sidestep, step back, the snatchbacks, all that is there, and his shot is so pretty. It is one of the best forms in this draft, and it is quick. And the Spurs system, we mentioned this earlier, the Gary Neals of the world, the Bryn Forbes of the world. If you can't play defense like Nikola Yovich, yeah, we see Tavares, we'll bring him up in a second. If you can't play defense like Nikola Yovich, as long as you're just tall and you can switch on to maybe a guy, we'll hide you in the corner. We'll hide you. But just make sure you knock down 1 or 2 threes a quarter or a half, please. That's all we ask. That's all we need. Get hot. We'll feed you. And literally, Nikola Yovich is a sniper, a microwave shooter, mid-range, from 3. Yes, we'll have to work at getting at the rim. In the Serbian league, Mega Basket, him and another prospect, they had a great pick and pop game. You had to respect both of them because the other guy was I can't pronounce his name, Malik Jovic, something like that. This dude literally was a high-flying 6'10", just like John Collins of Serbia. And then you can either feed him in a slip down or a lob, or you have to respect Nikola Jovic's pick and pop from the 3 or mid-range because it was always there. And they were like 50%, 55% all season in just that themselves. We brought up Tavares. Tavares is a regular. What is going on, man? And then we'll probably close out.
Hey, I just got a quick question. Who's the better prospect, Sohan or Eason?
There is no wrong answer. There is no right answer. Jeremy Sohan's shooting really equates out to Torrey Hanson's loose handle. Torrey Eason's more of a 3 and 4, not more of a Patrick Williams, but he'll have the Patrick Williams build with more of a Kenyon Martin Jr. role like in Houston. The play finishing at the rim, the hustle baskets, being able to switch to the 3-4, small ball 5, being able to run in transition, highlight dunks, cut into the rim, floaters, all that. That's Torrey Eason. Jeremy Souhan, make it clear, Jeremy Sochan. The guy is a 4 and a small ball 5 right now. That has a rotation for anybody. That can literally push the ball in transition like Domantas Sabonis. That can initiate as a pick and roll man. That can roll as a roll man in the pick and roll, finish at the rim. Mid-range is more of his game. We'll see what he can do at the NBA 3. The free throws is what really is throwing people off. 59 freaking percent. As a 6th man of the year and as a second unit, you get to the line a lot. You make 59% of that, man. That's worse. I'm not saying I can shoot better than that, but dude, like, you have this super calm mentality. You've been a pro for a while. He was playing overseas. He was born in Oklahoma, but in Poland, he was playing all these little pro leagues, whatever you want to call it. Then he worked his way over here as a 19-year-old. He is super confident, super humble as a kid. You mean to tell me you can't focus? You mean to tell me you can't work on that flick of the wrist, put the hand in the cookie jar? Come on, man. Chip will be a great, great, great fit for this guy. Torrey Eason still is a better shooter from the corner. He reminds me a lot of a Keldon Johnson mixed with Jalen Johnson, a combination. 6'8", quicker, but there's no wrong or right answer. I was going to make a tweet about it. There's literally no wrong or right answer with Torrey Eason, who can seem like a stretch. Some people think that he's not really a raw build, but if he falls to 15, 16, 17, not only do you have to take him, but like he'll be a Rocket, and that Rocket team will move on from Jason. They'll move on from Kenyon Martin Jr. They'll plug him at the 3. They'll get Paolo, and they'll be moving. They'll be moving in transition. It'll be AAU basketball. It'll be ugly at times, but it'll be pretty at times. The no-look passes, the mellow zips down to the lane, the quick dimes, all that, man. So Torrey Eason fits with a team like that more than a team like the Spurs. But like I said with Eric Salinas, Torrey Eason or Jeremy Sochan as a Doug replacement, literally at the 4, small ball 5, anywhere you want, man. Coming off of curls, short corner, pick and pop actions. Let's see if he can knock down the corner 3. Let's see how long he'll take in Austin, which he may not even need, honestly. He won't even really need, right? Don't you think, Ben? And there's so much I have on both of them, man. So that's really it. I'll be more glad with Sochan, I'll say now, just because we need more of a small ball 5 that's more of a stagnant 4. When I say stagnant 4, this guy even quoted himself. Some guy, Twitter page, he said, there's no more power forwards like this. And it was a picture of Tim Duncan next to Kevin Garnett. Jeremy Sochan is that build. He is that build, day one.
A bold statement, sir. Love that. I mean, Sochan's a little shorter than those guys, and he doesn't shoot it off the bank, but we can all dream. I think, unless we have anybody else who wants to come up and speak, forever hold your peace. Evan and I should be back. We're actually going to appear on Noah's podcast later this week, so be on the lookout for that. We'll be tweeting the heck out of that thing too. And appreciate you guys coming on. I know it's Memorial Day. Y'all are probably hanging with families, doing some other stuff. We appreciate you barbecuing, whatever it is. Appreciate you coming out here listening, and we will see you and hear you guys next time.
You guys have a great rest of your week. We will talk soon. Peace.
Thanks, fellas.
Thanks, y'all.